Well, my name is Alison Gannett, and we're here at Holy Terror Farm. And I wear many hats in my life. I'm a climate change solutions consultant, I'm a farmer, I'm a health coach for people with cancer, and I also jump off cliffs for a living. So, as a world champion extreme skier, I have been able to ski all over the world. And I've been in movies, competitions, and what I've seen over the last 20 years is the glaciers and the ski areas that I've skied at, the snow is disappearing. One area in France where I used to get off the chairlift, you now get off and you have to take your skis off because the glacier has melted so much that you have to climb down a 200-foot ladder to get to the snow. Also, as a skier, I ski right here out of my farm, and what I've seen over the last, probably 10 years, is we have a new phenomenon where the dust from the deserts in the west of us, over by Las Vegas and California, is actually blowing into our mountains here and covering the snow in the spring with a thin red film of dust. Not only is it making that snow unskiable, what is happening is that the snow is melting so early that it is affecting our farming here. Where we used to have our peak snow melt was often in May or June. We're now seeing that happen a full month earlier. And the consequences for me as a skier mean I can't go skiing. And as a farmer, I don't have enough water to irrigate my vegetables, my animals, and my fruit. So as a farmer, really the most important thing we look for is water. And in our area here, we wouldn't have food without good water. And most of our water, all of our water comes from the mountains, which comes from snow. And a lot of people don't make that connection between the importance of having snow release that water in like a time lapse, so that when we need it as farmers, it's available. So early snowmelt is a huge problem because we don't get that water when we really need it in the summers when it's hot and dry. So as a skier who is concerned about my food availability, I became a farmer several years ago. And what I didn't realize being a farmer is how important the timing of the blooms become. And what I have seen in the last 7 years here at the farm is normally the fruit trees would bloom kind of on schedule in spring. But what's happened in the last several years is as we've been seeing it get warmer in the winter, the fruit trees have thought that it is spring in something like March. And so they're blooming really early. And what happens is those buds come out and the flowers bloom and they're out too early, and then we get a deadly frost. And so we have seen many, many years. I would say this was the first year we got good fruit production on our farm. We have about 200 fruit trees. My neighbor has 35,000 fruit trees. For the past 10 years, we have gotten very little fruit production, and that's because the trees are thinking that it's spring too early. The frost dates are staying exactly the same. We're getting our deadly frost still around the beginning of June, but the fruit trees are timing themselves sometimes even 2 months too early. Well, when we first started farming here in 2010, we grew everything outside, and we didn't have any problem with that. But we did want to extend our growing season, and especially when we were getting things blooming so early, perennials, and then the frost was staying in June, but things were coming out in March instead of April and May. What we did for a solution to this climate change problem was we installed hoop houses. And this way, our crops were protected from that early bloom and having that late frost problem. It's interesting because in climate change, we thought that everything would just get warmer. And as a farmer, I thought, well, that'll be great. I will be able to grow more food for longer. But with the frost staying the same and the spring coming earlier, it's actually confusing the plants and animals so that the production was actually declining instead of increasing. So here at our Holy Terra Farm, we have water rights that were applied for in 1883, and it's the #1 senior water right on Terra Creek. We bought this farm because we knew water was so important. The crazy thing is we've had so many droughts in the last 20 years. They're happening about once every 5 years. It used to be we'd have a 100-year drought or a 50-year drought or a 10-year drought. But now they're happening at such frequency that normally we have about 200 people pull water off of this creek. In 2002 and 2012, there was only one person, us, that pulled water off the creek. Only enough water for one farm. That's scary.